As reactions continue to trail President Bola Tinubu's announcement of the removal of fuel subsidy at the inauguration Monday, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPC, has backed President Buhari's decision. The group's chief executive officer, Mili Kyari, says the removal of subsidy, which has been a burden on NNPC's cash flow, will free up funds to enable optimal operations in the company. Reacting to the scarcity already being experienced, he assured Nigerians of sufficient supply of the product. He noted that the NNPC is also monitoring all its distribution networks to ensure compliance.
The decision of Mr. President to announce that subsidy on PMS is over, and this has really been a major challenge for NNPC's continued operation. We have been funding the subsidy from the cash flow of the NNPC since government is unable to defray the cost of subsidy that is due to the corporation. And we believe that this will free resources for the NNPC to continue to do the great works that this company will do for our country, and it allows us to continue to function as a very commercial entity. And we welcome this development. Secondly, we would like to assure Nigerians that we have sufficient supply of petroleum product, particularly petroleum motor spirit, in our country, and there is no reason to panic. We understand people will be scared of potential changes to price of petrol, but that is not enough for people to rush to fuel stations to buy more than what they need.
Well, joining me to discuss this is a professor of energy and electricity law, University of Lagos, Yemi Oke. It's good to have you join us on the news at this time. First, let me get your reactions to this very pertinent issue. The president said a lot of things during his inaugural speech, but this seems to be one of the things that jumps at you when you go through the speech. What's your reaction to this?
Thank you very much. The new dawn in Nigeria, definitely, with the swearing in of President Bola Tinubu. And even before his assumption of office, he made it clear that Nigerians should be ready for difficult decisions that will ultimately be to the benefit of the country. And the regime of petroleum subsidy is such that it's never worked for the country. Right from time immemorial, we've been having debates about removal otherwise of PMS subsidy in particular. One thing is very clear. From the point of view of law, policy, and even common sense, the removal of petroleum subsidy is justifiable and remains the right thing to do. And as a country, we've never been able to manage the petroleum subsidy regime. There was never a time we've never had complaint about monumental fraud in the regime of petroleum subsidy, both in the application of it, who gets what and how, and the management of the subsidy. That's not the way a country should go. That's not the way a country that looks towards the future will go. The regime has never benefited the masses. It has never benefited the masses. It's been benefiting selected few. And we can't continue as a country. President Tinubu did not introduce the removal. He merely re-emphasized the fact that the regime of petroleum subsidy removal has come to stay. One, the immediate past administration made a policy declaration and made it a matter of law that subsidy will end in June.
Professor,
the Petroleum Industry Act, I'm here.
Professor, I understand what you're saying, but if you take a look at what has happened today, having a lot of people, particularly here in Lagos and in some other cities in Nigeria, and how difficult it has been for them to get to their workplaces, some analysts have argued that the president could have adopted or proposed a phased-out procedure for the fuel subsidy.
I wouldn't agree to that. As much as the hardship is regrettable, we don't necessarily need to subject ourselves to the hardship. This is not, one thing needs to be clear. this is not about President Bola Tinubu. It's not about the new president. It's about Nigeria and Nigerians, you and I and the president inclusive. What country do we want? I am an advocate now. One good thing about the new regime is that this is a government that is not afraid of taking difficult decisions. And I led strongly in support of sometimes, because of our orientation as a nation, we may sometimes need to approach killing a cockroach with a sledgehammer so that the cockroach would not rear its ugly head again. Where we are, NNPC is a growing concern now. It's a matter of law. NNPC Limited is a growing concern like Saudi Aramco and others. It has to declare dividend for Nigerians. We can't expect NNPC to continue to use its resources to subsidize petroleum PMS consumption for Nigerians. It's not even for Nigerians, it's for some selected few. Right from the era of President, former military head of state, Babangida, we've been having subsidy removal, not to remove or removal. We've never had it tried in terms of subsidy. And now, if we don't start to take a difficult decision as a country, we're not going to go anywhere. Please, this is not about President Bola Tinubu. It's about the kind of Nigeria we want and what we want of our nation. We want a country that works for all of us, not for a few individuals who have now hijacked the structure and diverted the gains of petroleum subsidy for their home benefit. It's not the right way to go, and I strongly support the removal of petroleum subsidy. Of course, by the time the new government settles down, palliatives will be unveiled, structures will be put in place, but it is unpatriotic of any Nigerian, and quite frankly, it is criminal of any Nigerian now to latch on the pretext of the declaration or affirmation of the removal of petroleum subsidy by the last regime, which, of course, there's even no budget provision for it for the new administration. So where do we get the money from? It's not about the new administration. It's about we Nigerians being unfair and criminally minded to Nigerians. Why would anybody now think this is the right time now to start for PMS that's readily available in needless anticipation of the fact that the removal, the subsidy will go? It will be counterproductive. Dangote refinery is going to come. It's a free market economy in the petroleum industry. If you don't sell your product, others are going to bring in the product and they're going to sell and they are going to be hedged out of the industry as a player. So it is not about competition, free entry, free exit. That is what you expect in a free market economy that will be to the benefit and the advantage of the majority of Nigerians as against something that had potentially benefited selected people. That's not the way to go as a country. If you want a country of our dream, definitely petroleum subsidy will go. It's a difficult decision, but frankly, it's going to affect me. It's going to affect everybody. It's even going to affect the new president. But that surely is the right way to go from my point of view of law, policy, and petroleum and energy management, energy resources management.
Professor of Energy and Electricity Law, University of Lagos, Yemi Oke, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this. We hope for better days.
Thank you.
On Monday, the 29th of May, marks the historic inauguration of Bola Tinubu as the 6th democratically elected president of Nigeria. One of the high points of the event is the remarkable attendance by foreign dignitaries and congratulatory messages from world leaders. Well, let's start with the U.S. President Joe Biden. He congratulated President Bola Tinubu on his inauguration, saying he looks forward to working with the new government of Nigeria. President Biden expressed desire to strengthen the bond between Nigeria and the United States. According to him, the connections between both countries run particularly deep and have been nurtured by a great Nigerian diaspora in the U.S. On behalf of the people of the United States, he extended his warm wishes to the government and people of Nigeria. The United States delegation to the inauguration were among global dignitaries present in Abuja on Monday. And at the Eagle Square, Nigerians bared their minds on what they feel should form the key issues to be addressed by the present administration. They're anxious to know what Nigeria's new president has up his sleeve as cheers and celebration filled the air. TVC News correspondent Tijesu Adeoye reports.
A journey that started at the APC convention on the 7th of June 2022 at the Eagle Square is at its climax in the same venue. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has been sworn in as Nigeria's 6th democratically elected president. The Eagle Square in Abuja was brightly colored in Nigeria's green, white, green, and gaily dressed admirers of President Bola Tinubu filled the Eagle Square. One prominent feature in the fashion statement is the logo that symbolizes a broken shackle, now seen as President Bola Tinubu's trademark. But on the sidelines of these colorful events, Nigerians say it should also be a moment for deep reflection as they expect the newly sworn-in commander-in-chief to hit the ground running as soon as possible.
First of all, it talked about the unity of this country, about the fact that we are one people, and that is the crust of his speech, actually. Without the unity of this country, there's no economy, there's no security. There's that sense of trying to bind the wounds of the country.
Done the best in Lagos, which everybody know, and to try to make even the southwest state and the whole over Nigeria.
President Tinubu has assured that his administration will be one that will be inclusive and will ensure no one is left behind.
Now the show is over and it's the dawn of a new administration, but it doesn't end here. All eyes are on Bola Tinubu to fulfill his promise of a renewed hope for a better Nigeria. The curtain now falls on the inaugural ceremony, and the next big event in the Eagle Square will be the June 12, Nigeria's Democracy Day. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.